Howdy. Yep. So we are excited to be back in Aggieland. Just finished a road trip into Big Ten country, and we are still undefeated after 6 games. The game on Thursday at Illinois, we won 1-0 on a Micaiah McDonald goal. She's our leading scorer at the moment. Then on Sunday, went over to Columbus, and actually we went to Columbus, drove the 5 hours on Friday, and played the Buckeyes on Sunday to a 0-0 draw, a game that was back and forth that we could have easily won. We also could have lost. I think that both of those games are going to prove to be good for our end of year record as far as when people are examining us compared to other teams. Playing teams, other Power 5 programs are really, really important. And those are 2 teams that have been in many, many, many NCAA tournaments. We've only given up 1 goal in our 6 games, which is what we're hanging our hat on right now with our defense. Katie Smith, who's one of our captains, is going to be named the SEC Defender of the Week in the SEC, which is high praise because there's currently 6 undefeated teams in the SEC. The SEC is doing very well across the board, top to bottom, really, in our sport. We continue to kind of progress as we progressively get more and more challenging in our schedule. So Illinois, then Ohio State on the road. Now we come home, and on Thursday we'll play against number 6 TCU. TCU is a team that I think we're 16-1 against, but they beat us last year, and they've been on a super run for the last 3 or 4 years. They are back-to-back champions in the Big 12. A very, very good program. They've done a really good job. Their coaches work very hard. We have a lot of respect for them and admire them as friends. But on Thursday, obviously, those will drop for about 90 minutes. They're coming off of 2 losses on the road to USC and at home to Duke. So I'm sure that they will be hungry to get a bounce-back win or some sort of result against us on Thursday. We're hoping to have a big crowd on Thursday. They'll have a happy hour again prior to the game, which is a half-price concessions for the first 30 minutes that the concession stands open at 6 o'clock. Kickoff is at 7. And then on Sunday, we play another undefeated team in South Alabama when they come to town. And they are, again, a perennial power. They've won many Sun Belt Conference championships, are coming in as a team that recently drew with Mississippi State, who's undefeated this year. They drew with them in Starkville. So right now, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves as we get back and have a chance to get back on our grass and in front of our crowd. So happy to take any questions.
Let's go right here in front to Travis, and then we'll go to Tyler in the back.
I know last time we talked, you were focusing on the physicality that Ohio State and Illinois brought. How did you feel like your team handled that and moving into the TCU game?
We did well. I think coming out of it unscathed, both physically and tactically, we think that our team really stood up well to it. We knew that they were going to be aggressive, physical, great athletes that the Big Ten, of course, would have. And I think in both games we were able to control big parts of the game with our possession. We were able to create a lot of chances. Our finishing, something that we'll be working on this week, because we're not going to get quite as many chances perhaps against these 2 next opponents. But all in all, I think that last year we wouldn't have gotten those results because of the physicality, and again because our team is so young. Our defense is where our experience is with Carlina Sample and with Katie Smith and with Carolyn Calzada, who's only a freshman but is playing like someone well beyond her years. And then Kenna Caldwell in goal has been outstanding so far. So it'll be it's something that we can hang a little bit more confidence on as we go forward.
Let's go to TV Land to Tyler.
You talked about TCU coming to town being a big challenge. How much does it help that it is at home, and especially with some of the crowds that you've seen so far here?
Well, it's huge. I mean, anytime that we play in front of the 12th man is a is a massive advantage to us. The last time they came in, they also, I think they were ranked in the top 5 that year, and that was in the crazy COVID year of 2020, 2021, and they were Big 12 champions. We were SEC champions, and our win against them is what secured our number 7 seed overall in the NCAA tournament. And a big part of that was playing on our field, on our surface, in front of our crowd. Ellis Field is better than any field in the country, and there are some great ones out there. TCU has a great field as well, but just the way that the ball moves on our surface and the way that our crowd surrounds the field is something different for teams coming in to have to deal with.
Front left to Zach, and then we'll go to Ben.
G, can you give us a little insight into this TCU squad and what you're going to expect on Thursday?
Sure. So Eric Bell, who was Coach of the Year in the Big 12 last year, and Ryan Higginbotham, his associate head coach, have done a marvelous job of putting together some quality players. Eric is a disciple of Florida State's former coach Mark Krikorian, so they play an expansive possession style. Messiah Bright is their big star amongst stars up front, first team All-American, and I think she was probably the offensive player of the year in the Big 12. If she wasn't, she should have been. And she's a big, strong, very good finisher. She has really progressed well in her 5 or 6 or 7 years that she's been at TCU. It feels like 7 years that she's been at TCU. I think this is her 5th year to be there competing. So she's going to be a handful, but just the way that they move and possess the ball makes it to where, you've got to be comfortable not having the ball sometimes. And that's, for a young team, that's sometimes, that can get a little panicky, and we have to be okay with not having it and knowing that when we get it, we can be very effective, and we have been all season long.
We'll wrap it up with Ben Peck behind the TV land.
Coach, I think you tweeted something, if I'm not mistaken, after the game, after the win on Thursday, just about kind of that young attacking core kind of, growing up quickly with Mia, the through ball to Laney, to Makia to finish it off. Just how pleased are you just long-term, just with how everything has been clicking for some of those younger girls?
Well, I think the learning curve is still pretty vertical for our attackers. I mean, that goal against Illinois went from a freshman to a sophomore to a freshman and finished by a sophomore to show the youth on the team. And it's nice to see how every game they're learning and they're getting a little bit better as they go forward. And I think that, like I said, we're creating a lot of really good chances. When you look at some of the freshmen who have come in, like Sydney Becerra, who's Gatorade Player of the Year in Texas last year, as well as Georgia Leb has been awesome in there, and then our transfer from Vanderbilt, Quinn Cornog. Those guys in the middle of the field have really meshed well with the returning players, and it's a nice, confident, stable way of playing. There's no panic to the way they play, but it does put a lot of pressure on the other team, and we think that if we can keep everybody healthy, that will only continue to improve. And again, like I said, our progress has been pretty substantial as we've progressed, better and better and better every week, but also our schedule now progresses the same way. So can we step up and meet 2 really big challenges with TCU and South Alabama? We're happy that both the games are at home, and we'll look forward to the 12th man being back out there supporting our ladies.
We actually have one more question. We'll go to Tyler in the back.
Coach, I just wanted to ask about Katie Smith, just the performance you saw. What did you see from her this weekend, and then just what did she bring to your team?
Well, Katie's one of our captains, and that is decided upon by the players on the people that they admire the most and want and will follow the most. She and Carlina Sample are our 2 captains, and are both tremendous leaders and tremendous players. Katie is as someone who's, when she came to us, she was an attacking player. We played her as a wide midfielder and as a forward, and she's moved back to the back and has anchored our back line now for the last year and a half. She's very fast. She's very smart. She's comfortable on the ball, so we can build out of the back and possess out of the back. And again, we talk about the idea of 90 minutes of hell that we want to give our opponents. That starts with communication coming from the people behind you, giving you the confidence that you can go and put pressure on it if you're a midfielder or forward. That's because Carlina and that's because Katie are the ones that are kind of running the show back there. And she's an awesome person. She could come back for a 5th year, but she'll go pro at the end of this year and will be a very, very successful professional.
All right, that's a wrap.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.